It's the season finale here at round 5 of the Next Level Racing iRacing 911 Cup Asia League 2023 by ASRF as we head to the home of endurance racing at Circuit de la Sarthe on this very special Le Mans 24-hour weekend. What has been a nail-biting short season of Porsche Cup racing will go down the wire as the championship contenders compete for the season championship and the ultimate prizes by Next Level Racing. Hello and welcome to a race like no other. It's me, Wei Han, joined by a full house with Bradley, Max, and Hien from the Saturday Night Live crew, and we're certainly looking forward to taking everyone on for a ride in the French countryside.
Yeah, welcome everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a stunning run through the French countryside right now here. This is going to be 13.5 kilometers long, 8.4 miles long, and partially on public roads as well. This is the fastest Grade 2 FIA racetrack in terms of average speeds, and even though it's been neutered by chicanes and tight corners in recent years, it's still the home of speed in endurance racing. A lot of slipstreaming to happen here and a lot of very, very exciting overtaking. I can guarantee you that.
Yes, and it's Bradley here again, back for the finale, along with my co-commentators Max, Hien, and Wei Han. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and as it goes down to the wire, it will be interesting to see just who comes out on top.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's me. Can't wait for that because tonight we're racing at Le Mans. And also there's the real Le Mans happening in the next 24 hours, like started by 9 p.m. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, 10 p.m., don't worry. We get to watch it after this race, so if anyone's still counting down to green flag in Le Mans, you can watch a virtual race around Le Mans.
Absolutely, and we will promise to let you know as soon as the race is over whether you've missed the start or
not. and we sure gonna host the watch party after that on our Discord server, the ASRF Discord server. So let's get back to the series catchers. Anything, guys?
Yeah, actually, since I missed the last two races, Max, Hien, maybe fill us back in on the top of the table and what's happened so far in the last few races.
Well, certainly. I mean, Manicours was a fantastic race for us. I think it was some of the most exciting racing we've seen in quite some time. But we did see domination there from a certain driver that we'll see fairly shortly. But I have to say, the level of racing in Manicours was just something completely different. Also with Long Beach, unfortunately had to miss that one, but it was quite rough out there, wasn't it?
Well, at Long Beach in particular, I think that was the one round that unfortunately we didn't manage to cover, but I think the drivers had fun there because, it's Long Beach, how can you not have fun there? But of course, I think based on the outcomes that we probably saw from the protest, it seemed that most drivers were, they would possibly have been quite clean with one another. So I think on that front, things should have been fine. But otherwise, of course, if you kind of contrast round 4 and round 5, coming from Long Beach over to Le Mans, two diametrically opposed circuits, even though both are circuits. So I think that's something that drivers will definitely be looking forward to.
Yeah, get back into the overall standing. We can see right here on the screen. First place belongs to Aldo Balagulan with 202 points. Second is Liasu Zufei with 198. Taking from Korea, take the third place with 168. Right after that, just 1 point is the guy from Thailand, Pachara Housavet with 167. And the last one, in the fifth place, Huang Ji Ling with 160. You guys think anything gonna happen tonight? Any place not gonna be changed after the race tonight?
I think the most dangerous is, of course, between Aldo and Xia Yufei. First and second place is way too close for comfort. Anything can happen with these longer races. The changing positions, any incidents, accidents. There's a million and one things that can go wrong for Aldo in keeping his position up the top there. And Pachara also looking very dangerous there in third position. I think we're going to see a lot of changes in the leaderboard, potentially a lot of changes in the leaderboard coming into this round. It's all up for grabs.
Yeah, I remember watching races 1 and 2 where Lee Xiaoyufei dominated in race 1 and finished 3 wide in the feature race for round 1 at Silverstone. And then there's a dominant display by Huang Yiling in race 2 at Suzuka, but then he had technical issues and was unable to capitalize on his race win in the sprint for the feature. So with 20 points up for grabs in the sprint race for the victory and 40 points up for grabs in the feature race, if my maths is correct, any one of the top 5 can win.
Just secure the first place, just secure the pole, and then you can get the the next level racing.
Oh man, yeah, that's what everyone's going to be fighting for, isn't it? And I have to say, really nice looking stuff there from Next Level Racing, our sponsors for this championship. Why don't you let us in on the prizes there, Wei Hen?
Oh yes, so, well, let's just do the ad read here if we can. So yeah, this series brought to you by Next Level Racing, a leading simulation brand revolutionizing sim racing with its industry-leading product range. So some of the prizes, the grand prize includes the GT Elite Light Cockpit, which comes with quality of life features fit for the discerning sim racing enthusiast, which is available in stores and also to the winner of this series. On top of this, drivers are also going to be eligible for, the second place driver at least will be eligible for one of the gaming chairs by Next Level Racing. So, you know, of course, you not only, I imagine not only do you have a sim racing copy at home, you also have a desk, so that gaming chair would definitely go there. And the third place driver will stand a chance to win a haptic feedback pad that they can then, you know, put on a chair. So certainly some good lineup of prizes that we have this season for all of basically for the participants of the season, with you know, first 3 drivers having something that they can take away from racing in this short season.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully, actually, we'll be getting our hands on some Next Level Racing gear as well for review. So do check out Adrenaline Impact later on in this month and the next month, where we'll be doing a nice series on Vertex Esports, Vertex Uncovered, in association with Next Level. It's going to be very exciting. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we can look at. What I really like is that haptic feedback pad. Like, that just looks like a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I can imagine. Personally, my own rig does not yet have any sort of force feedback except in the steering wheel, and like that's maybe 80% of the realism, but that last 20% being able to feel like the sort of G-forces or the sudden kick of power or sudden heavy weight of braking is probably that last little bit of realism that just makes everything special.
From my perspective, if you're racing with the table clamp, you got like 500 horsepower added to your car, and then you race with the proper racing grid, so racing simulation cockpit, and then you got like more 10 or 15 or even like 20 more horsepower added to your car. You can fly on the way of any lap like you win.
So what I think that is on a physics term is torque steer on your table.
Absolutely. I've been suffering with that for quite some time because I am doing all of this stuff in a room that's physically too small for a rig. So I feel that deeply. But they do have wheel stands as well, which can help. For all of you guys who are clamping your wheels on the table, perhaps a wheel stand might be the way to go as well.
That sounds valuable, yeah. Actually, there are a few cars setting in their lap times already. Lee Xiaoyufei has set a 4:03 point. Oh no, sorry, that was a 3:59.4. Wow. So first driver under the 4-minute mark for qualifying already. So as has been mentioned, Le Mans is 13 or so kilometers, 8.5 miles around. So getting a lap time under 4 minutes in these Porsche 911 Cup cars is pretty fast.
Yeah, not too long ago, that would have qualified you into GTM, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. That's fairly quick going for some of the qualifying sessions we've had at Le Mans. The interesting thing with Le Mans And something that is captured a little bit in iRacing is that the conditions change so much between the track being rubbered in and good and when it's green, and of course the road traction levels change so much over the course of the lap as well. But obviously, these guys are having a great time out there. It looks like conditions are perfect for the fast lap times to come in. But yeah, Xia Yufei in a Porsche Carrera Cup car, 3:59 is nothing to be sneezed at. That's quick.
Yeah, and this may be Circuit de la Sarre, but we could also call it Circuit de Porsche because Hien, how many
Yeah.
Le Mans have Porsche won?
Around 17 or 18 something.
Yeah,
Well, Ian remembers.
Yes, and actually, like what in 100 years of Le Mans, actually this year is 100th anniversary of the Le Mans racing. They would race back there in 1923 just to prove that okay, how durable the car was, and Porsche should like take like 17 around, and they aim for like 20% of racing that they're gonna win the race.
Yeah, and that's accounting for the fact that Porsche is 75 years old this year. I think someone mentioned that they've got their 75th year anniversary celebrations right about now. Be absolutely marvelous if they capped it off with a win tonight. But right now, the screen is full of Porsches because we're racing with the 911 Cup cars, the 992 generation to be specific. So there's a slight difference from the regular 911s of old with their rear engine, the flat six hanging out over the rear axle, but the Cup cars, I believe, have their engine just within the rear axle, so it counts as a mid rear engine car.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair bit more forwards than the standard car, and it also has double wishbone front suspension as well, so it does help a lot in the balance. It is still technically rear-engined. The GTE cars have moved to a mid-engine layout for the diffusers, but still very capable car there. They've done a lot of work from the 991 to the 992 cars to make it a lot more acceptable. The old-style Carrera Cup cars were very tricky to drive. As we see, the qualifying results have come out there. Xia Yufei Li with that amazing 3:59.424 coming in first position, with Tae Kim in second place there, 1.4 seconds behind, and Patara Hongsawet in third.
Aldo Ray, the championship leaders, in fifth. Brandon Boone's in fourth. Simon Sanchez, sixth. Ao King Kyung is in seventh. Tsushi Osafune and Jamal Gandour did not set times, but they will line up 8th and 9th on the grid respectively. So the top 6 definitely looking at getting a good points haul, and I think Lee Xiaoyufei, Aldore, Tae Kim, and Pachara Hongsawat will be looking to see if they can get the necessary points to get themselves to vault themselves into the top 3. And am I not mistaken? This is a rolling start tonight.
Oh dear,
Sure looks like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rolling start because we are seeing the Porsche safety car over there. They're gonna drive a short circuit, and then just before the start-finish line, and then they're gonna be the race.
Yes, I think the past 4 races were standing starts. So, needless to say, there is a lot of management required for a standing start that maybe you don't have to be so squirrely about with a rolling start, because with a standing start you've got to make sure you've managed the wheel spin, and with sometimes up to 30 other cars around you, you will have absolute shenanigans if someone's not pointing straight. This time, however, with the rolling start, it ensures that everyone is in close quarters as they go into turn 1. So I believe they're rolling off on the straight off the Mulsanne, is it? Or are they going into the Porsche curves?
I think they should start running either before or after. It looks like the entry into the Porsche curves. I could be wrong, but it should be going through the Porsche curves, then into the Ford chicanes, and away we go. That should give the guys enough times to settle themselves. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
At
we're going
the
into the
exit of
Porsche
Arnage
curves
into
now.
Porsche curves. fun fact, all throughout, from the very start of racing at Le Mans in 1923, right up to 1969, they used a system called the Le Mans start, where drivers had to run across the track, jump into their cars, and start the cars up and leave. In 1970, there was 1 year where where Le Mans actually started from a standing start, and since then they've used what in Le Mans terminology is what is known as an Indianapolis start, which is what we know today as the rolling start. So this actually would be quite fitting for the 24-hour of Le Mans weekend, I think.
I think I recall Jackie X mentioning, or it was a protest in one of the later Le Mans start races in the 60s where he would deliberately take his time to fasten his belts for safety reasons, and we complain about the chicanes nowadays, but 400 miles an hour in 200 miles an hour in what counts in modern terms as thin metal gigantic engine cars did require a certain amount of bravery. Different kind of bravery now as the cars line up, as they're coming out of the Ford chicane, getting ready to launch off.
Green flag.
And red light is on. And they're away. Green flag.
It looks like there was a spinner further back there, but meanwhile Xiao Yufei manages to get a fantastic start coming in towards the Dunlop bridge there, through the Dunlop curves here. Very difficult section of the track here. One of the newest sections of the track to try and slow the cars down, coming up towards Tête Rouge now. They're diving up, down, and through the second two corners there. Off to the left there is the MotoGP course, the Circuit Bugatti. But now we're going to go to the full fat Le Mans and heading up towards Tête Rouge there. Xiao Yufei having a fantastic start there, but Takim is very close behind, managing to do a fantastic start himself, coming up towards Tête Rouge there on the exit and onto the infamous Lit Doigt de Unondière, otherwise known as the Mulsanne Straight. I'll get the French right eventually. Coming down towards the main straight here at Le Mans, they're going to head over to two chicanes before they come up towards the Mulsanne corner proper.
You can see Takim already lining up and getting as much slipstream as possible. See what kind of run he can get, but it's too far back to make a move now. They're all through the first of the Mulsanne kinks. Oh, there's a bit of activity back as Jawan Radur and Suki Osakune seem to be running near side by side. A bit of position change, but they're settling down a little bit. Is it me or is there someone moving slowly? No, can't tell, but someone else is lining a move up. Aldo Ray, the championship leader, he's being sized up by Simon Jorge Sanchez right now. Into Mulsanne 2 they go, and nothing doing, not yet. Holding station. But they will be diving into the Mulsanne corner at the end of this straight, and it will be a tight one.
You see a couple of positions there changing, swapping around. Perhaps there's mischief from another driver there, meaning that they will pull aside a little bit if they feel that the car's not accelerating perfectly, but it looks like everything's been sorted out. Diving down towards the inside here, let's have a look and see if Simon Sanchez can actually make the move work. Beautiful stuff there on Aldo Ray. Balagulan. Simon Sanchez now up into 4th place, Aldo Ray into 5th position there, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of pressure for Aldo. He's in the hunt for the championship right now. He's going to try and look for a way coming in towards Indianapolis corner there. There's one final kick that he has to go through here. Let's see if he can actually get the car alongside and pass. Not quite yet. They're going to go side by side. This is very, very tricky stuff indeed. They dive in towards the right-hand side before Indianapolis problem. Hard on the brakes there, and unable to actually get the move work there. It looks like it's very difficult for Aldo to actually stay on the back of some of these cars there. Perhaps he's a little bit more...
I think Aldo Ray's made the move. He's ahead of Simon Sanchez.
Right. There we go. So Aldo Ray actually has made the move there. Do apologize, the new glasses, I think.
And first time the Porsches are heading through the Porsche curves. Lee Face still out in front, but Takim is keeping him honest. There's only a half-second gap. Pachara Hongsama is a further second and a bit behind. Aldo Ray, in clearing Simon Sanchez, has dropped a bit from the leaders, so he's now 4 seconds behind the top three. He'll have some work to do if he wants to get a podium this race.
So so we are right now finished the first lap of the race tonight, and we see the overtake over there. When Takim suddenly slow down, anything happened to his car?
I've copped the cut track penalty because along the exit of the that stretch before the Ford chicanes, of course, that's the exit of the Porsche Cup. So you can't use too much of the exit, or you will cop like a cut track penalty. I think that's what happened to Takim.
Yeah, I thought I saw something like that go off. It's incidentally at a corner that I believe is called S2 Karting nowadays, which is a very which is in reference to the karting track next to the Porsche Center that's at Le Mans.
It's Brendan Boone right now. We're on board with. He's dived into the pits. It seems he's got a bit of a problem with the car. I can't quite tell what it is, but it's bad news for him in race 1. But the good news is, top 10 reverse grid, race 2. He will be on pole, but he'll still have to make up a bit of time to make sure he's finished the race. And we
also see Takim it out.
Oh, okay, that's
He dropped like 4 position and he ran out just net by the last one.
Ooh, so it looks like it might be a mechanical issue there for Takim. Or perhaps just a little bit of a problem with our timing screens there, because now on our screens it appears that he's briefly back into 3rd position. iRacing never fails to deliver the excitement on that one, but I think I'm not sure, but he might have perhaps a mechanical issue or an issue with his sim there.
Yeah, so it's a net code or internet connection problem or something like that. So just get back into the...
It's bad news for Takim, but it's good news for Aldo Ray, so he doesn't lose as many points to Lee Xiaoyifei up at the front in the championship standings. But he's lost ground against Simon Sanchez. Simon Sanchez has made the move.
Yeah, interesting stuff here. Back and forth, going all the way through here, now diving up towards the Mulsanne corner. We've seen these drivers change positions again, coming down towards the Mulsanne corner and coming out of the Mulsanne then as well. So I think there's definitely going to be a case of slipstreaming here down the Mulsanne and up towards the Indianapolis corner. That's going to be the big thing here. If you do make the move stick at Mulsanne, you're going to be defending coming up towards Indianapolis. It's a big chess game driving at Le Mans here, and you're doing this chess game on French national A roads that are closed for the event. This is not a permanent circuit. And it's very, very difficult, very bumpy indeed. Let's see there if Aldo can actually try and make a move stick here. He's going to go side by side again. Let's see if we can actually at least keep track of the cars here. No, not quite fast enough to go through there, and they both go line astern. But further behind there, we've seen some action there with, I believe that was Takim and Jamal Gandour, who's, it looks like Takim, yes, you were right there, Bob. He definitely had a little bit of an internet connection issue there. And it looks like Takim's managed to get himself up ahead of Jamal. But it looks like it's going to be very difficult for him to actually keep that position. He's run out wide, and it looks like Jamal's going to be able to go side by side here. It's going to be difficult going through these next few corners there. They're going to have to decide who's going to go ahead very, very soon here, coming down towards the braking zone here. Very tricky section of track as they turn off the French main roads and onto the track there. It looks like Takim's managed to keep the car ahead, but that's a very, very frightening moment there for Takim.
Yes, I think when we say street circuits, we never do think of Le Mans, even though these are French national roads out here. Yeah, it's quite a difference from the sunshine of Southern California at Long Beach to the deep night of Le Mans in the middle of France. But these lower temperatures probably do help the tires a bit, though. They'll prevent them from overheating, and they'll keep the tires in their lifespan.
Indeed, and of course the other advantage there is when you can keep the tires working for longer, you can have more aggressive setups. You can really start playing around with lower downforce levels, more aggressive camber, more aggressive tire pressure settings, and that really helps the drivers out big time. It's just that extra little millimeter of confidence that they need to push these cars hard. And looking at the lap times and look at the pace so far right now, Xiaoyufei Li there in first position there. He's 6 seconds ahead of the battle going on behind them. Well, actually, more like 12 seconds there. Pachara Hongsavet is in second place, and Simon Sanchez is in third, 6.5 seconds behind them. But behind him, he has a whole bunch of cars that have actually drawn up towards him. Taking has managed to make an overtaking over there. He's managed to swap positions with Aldo Ray, but it's not over yet. This long straight is going to prove to be very critical, I think, towards the end of this race, with drivers chopping and changing positions right now. They're splitting, they're trying to break each other's toe. You're going to see a lot of that when drivers going to change lanes. Both drivers are actually closing up ever so slightly towards the back of Simon Sanchez's car there. And I think we're going to see something exciting happen towards the second chicane.
They're line astern right now, heading through the second of the straight, heading up to the second chicane. Yeah, the second Mulsanne King. Oh, is that Takim that's making a move? Yeah, looks like it. He's managed
Trying to overtake Sanchez. Yes, he is trying to overtake Sanchez before the second chicane on the Mulsanne Street. And right now, he's officially in the third place.
Nice. So Takim recovered from whatever issue he had on lap 1, and he's back up in the third place. Back in the podium position.
Fantastic stuff indeed. Must have found a bit more reception to make sure that he is racing nice and reliably now, going through the corners there. He's not completely safe, of course, because, like I said, there's a long straight coming up here. Taking beautiful use of slipstreaming there to try and actually draw himself past the cars coming into Mulsanne Bend now, but now coming up towards Indianapolis again. These two straights so important when it comes to the racing here. It's going to be very difficult for him to try and keep his positions, but if he can actually keep his nerve, hold his nerve going through here, there's going to be a few corners up ahead where he can gain some time. But Simon Sanchez is going to try and send it around the outside of this corner, which will become the inside of Indianapolis. Not quite able to do it, and he draws right back inside. I think this midfield battle is definitely shaping up to be quite a special one, isn't it, Bob?
Because we are right now witnessing the under like sub 0.5 gap time. You can see red, yellow and orange gap time between the Takim, Simon and Andres. Andres, who are right now on the top of the overall standing, so he gonna give all the effort to claim the position back to get hit point in both sprint race and feature race. Somehow, because there's Simon, the unexpected factor, and also take him leading the up 2 position, that's gonna be the really hard mission for Andre tonight.
Yes, Aldo Ray seems to have caught up a little bit to Simon Sanchez. Looks like Simon Sanchez didn't quite have the best of runs in the Porsche curves. He's now vulnerable into the 4 chicanes, but no space for it yet. So Aldo Ray drops back and gives a little bit of space. Ooh, he looks like he's run wide in the 4 chicanes, Aldo Ray. So really bad corners for him. So he's lost a second to Simon Sanchez.
Definitely not looking too good there for Aldo Ray. He's of course in with a chance of winning the championship coming into this round here, but this is a very difficult position to try and get it. 5 positions worth of points between himself and Xiaoyufei, who's really hounding it home in first position. 11 seconds ahead as they start what could be the final lap of the race for these drivers there. It's going to be very hard for him to try and do anything here. I think he's actually dropped a little bit too far back from the car ahead in order to try and get any sort of slipstream assistance. He's only really got one last chance down the Mulsanne, one last chance coming up towards Indianapolis corner there for him to try and do anything, and unfortunately it looks like he might be in a little bit of a disadvantage, but we do have reverse grids. We have seen him fight back quite well in the feature race, so I wouldn't write him off just yet, but it is going to be a very difficult situation there for Aldo.
By the time we see Xiaoyufei Li has been crashed and the gap time dropped significantly from 8 seconds down into 0.7
Oh, that's
in
quite,
the leading of the race.
that's
Yeah.
incredible stuff. Yeah.
Li Xiaoyufei had set the last 2 laps in the 357s, but now he's being reeled in by Pachara Hongsawat. It's
Yeah.
now down into the half-second range indeed. Meanwhile, Take Him in third has set a 4-minute 0.009 second lap on lap 3, so he's running well. It'll be interesting to see if Li Xiaoyufei can recover from his incident. It looks like he hasn't suffered too much yet, because he's pulling the gap back up to Pachara Hongsawat.
I just
that
hope
was-
that after the crash, the car still like intact, like still the same, because like drop like 8 seconds is really a huge gap, and that you have to like re-enter the track and do something like that, because yeah, we should have seen the replays.
In the battle for 4th and 5th, Aldo Ray looks like he's got a run on Simon Sanchez again. He's within a 10th, and he's making his move down the straight, leading up into Indianapolis. This is going to be close. He's holding it around the outside. He knows this is his last chance for a pass, and he is not giving it up.
Unbelievable bit of driving there from Aldo Ray to manage to go around the outside of Simon Sanchez there. And Simon Sanchez is not a very easy person to overtake if he doesn't want you to. So he had to do it the hard way there, going around the outside. Beautiful bit of driving there. Managing to make the move stick there. Now they're both coming out of Arnage. This is the last chance for any one of them to do anything. But I think Aldo's managed to get the exit out of Arnage just right. And if he can get that car to the Porsche curves, he should be home free. But never say never when it comes to racing at Le Mans. Stranger things have happened, and look at how close Simon Sanchez can get to the back end of Aldo Ray. Let's see if Simon can do anything coming up towards the corners here, diving down through this section here. Very, very narrow indeed, very dimly lit actually when it comes to, compared to the Singapore street circuit or to a lot of these other newer circuits. And the changing in light conditions can really mess you up here, but it looks like Simon Sanchez and Aldo Ray has managed to keep the car ahead of Simon Sanchez. Another couple of braking positions now, and in the meantime, Xiaoyufei Li has managed to come home in first ahead of Pachara Hongsawat. Take Him will come home in third position there, and it looks like Aldo Ray will in fact take home fourth.
Yeah, Simon Sanchez was close, but just not close enough. So great run from Aldo Ray to take 4th place. Saw damage limitation, and indeed he's in a slightly more advantageous position going into the feature race with the reverse grid. Jamal Gandour comes home in a solid 6th place. Atsushi Osafune in 7th. Kim Kyung in 8th, and Brandon Boone is recovered from his first lap incident issues, and he will be coming home in the next 40 seconds in that. Brandon Boone showing that the Le Mans spirit is really never give up, never say die, make it to the finish line.
Indeed. I mean, many a times in my career as a endurance racing mechanic, there's many a times when things look like they're absolutely out of it. There's no possibility of ever sort of getting back any time when it comes to endurance racing. There's no possibility of having a good result, but you just have to keep trying because you never know what's going to happen. And especially at Le Mans, we've seen this year in, year out. Just before the stream, me and Bob, we were talking about when the Toyota team had that failure at the last lap at Le Mans. And it was heartbreaking for everyone involved. So there is this case of just never, ever, ever giving up around here.
Yeah. And our 9 drivers have the results finalized. So Li Xiaoyufei the winner, Pachara Hongsawat second, and Take Him in 3rd place. So good performance for them, locking out the podium. Aldo Ray comes home in 4th, the championship leader. Though on points right now, I don't think he still has the advantage, but he has the advantage for the reverse grid in the feature race. Simon Sanchez is in 5th. Jamal Gandour is in 6th, Atsushi Osafune in 7th, Ken Kyong in 8th, and Brandon Boone in 9th. So there are our drivers, and they will take a quick break in between toward the feature race.
Yeah, I believe the Aldo Ray has lost the lead to Xiao Yufei Li, I think by about 4 points, if I'm not mistaken. My abacus is a bit rusty there, so mental arithmetic, not my strong suit, but I think it's 4 points now that Xiao Yufei Li is leading the championship from Aldo Ray. So every single point will now count towards the finish of the championship. This is very exciting stuff indeed. We see Pachara Hongsawet still in with a hunt, I believe, with a chance there, and actually a couple of other drivers there with a mathematical possibility of winning the championship. It's not over, folks. There is so much more that's about to happen. So do stick around. We've got a lot of exciting racing coming right up.
So are you tired of racing in your old, outdated gaming chair or desk setup? Then it's time to take your racing game to the next level. Next Level Racing offers top-of-the-line simulators that'll transport you straight from your man cave to the driver's seat with immersive experiences that'll make you feel faster than you actually are. So how good is that? Why settle for less? Upgrade to the Next Level Racing today and take your racing game to the, well, next level. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more. So we've just finished off the sprint race here at Circuit de la South, round 5 of the ASRF 9 Level Cup series, and we're on towards the feature race, which will see the drivers having their grid positions reversed. So right now drivers are still on their warm-up laps, but soon they'll take the track once again for a 25-minute run out here at Le Mans. Max, I think it's been quite a nail-biting 15-minute sprint race. What are your thoughts for the 25-minute feature race that will unfold here?
Well, it's just changed the game entirely there with Aldo losing his lead into the championship from Xiao Yufei there. I think for those two, the critical thing is to not only be ahead of each other, but also that 4-point gap could prove to be key. If Aldo finishes just ahead of Xiao Yufei, it might not be enough. He needs to put at least 2 or 3 more cars in between them but there are going to be 2 or 3 drivers that could do it. We saw Simon Sanchez doing a fantastic job there. He could be a spoiler in Xia Yufei's attempts at winning the championship. We see Tae Kim being very quick indeed, and Pachara Hongsawet also a perennial podium threat. So there's going to be a lot of interesting thing happening here, and also the fact that it's going to be reverse grid. Brandon Boone is going to be on pole with Ao Kin Kyung in second place and Atsushi Osafune in third at the head of the field, and Tae Kim, Pachara and Xia Yufei at the back of the field. Is going to be very, very tricky for them to try and win the championship. My advice to the championship contenders is to just drive flat out and do the best they possibly can, because right now it's in fate's hands as to where they're going to end up.
Yeah, it's harkens back to the days of the 2000s to 2010s, where championship would go down to the wire, and it was just up to Alonso or Hamilton or Vettel to finish as far up the order as they can. But with the rolling start, there's something slightly different. So they'll be falling into line, as Max explained earlier, into the Indianapolis style of start as opposed to the Le Mans start. And while it's definitely cleaner and it's definitely a little less chaotic at the start, it is a long race indeed around Circuit de Lausanne. And yes, any of these 9 drivers could win it in the end.
It's going to be a very, very nerve-wracking race for all these drivers indeed. They're making their way through the Porsche curves now and up towards the exit. This is the time when the drivers are getting themselves comfortable in the rig. Nerves are flying. The heart rate's just going to bump up a little bit there. There is a lot on the line for most of the drivers on the field right now. The top 5 still mathematically, I believe, in with a shot of doing this, of winning a prize from Next Level Racing. And let me tell you, they are some very nice prizes indeed. They go past the karting track there, and the section of track known as S2 Karting. Maison Blanche on the old circuit is on your right there. As they come up towards the Ford chicane, Porsche slows down a little bit in order to bunch the field up just a touch before they go through these final double chicanes here. And the cars are starting to get a little bit angsty there. Brandon Boone is going to go for it. The lights are going to go on, and it's away we go right now. Away we go right now, and Brandon Boone has managed to get a fantastic jump on the drivers there. Ao Kin Kyung in second place has managed to follow him, coming down towards the Dunlop curves here. Fantastic start from both of them. That's going to buy them some time there, because there's an awful lot of drivers there with a lot of things to go, and there's cars going off the track indeed. Wow, all over the place there. And Ao Kin Kyung has been bumped off the track. Unbelievable stuff.
It is still going 2 by 2 into the S's. We've got a replay here. Ao Kin Kyung had overcooked it into Dunlop S, and overcooked it again on the exit, so he was collected by a few drivers. It looks like everyone except Ao Kin Kyung has managed to get away fine. Aldo Ray is up into second place, so he's in a decent spot, but as they jockey for position down the start of the Mulsanne, the slipstream is going to matter a lot, positioning is going to matter a lot. I think Jamal Gandour might have dropped back a bit. I'm not sure what the issue is, but the 2nd to 7th are close indeed, within 2 seconds covering those 5 places.
Fantastic thing with this sort of pack racing right now. Oh, look at that, there's a spin. There's a spin further back there. Not too sure what happened there, but there's a Porsche going backwards off into the scenery. We'll try and see who that was. I'm not sure if that was Jamal or Simon Sanchez there.
Yes.
Simon Sanchez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I think it was Jamal who went off.
Definitely not a great thing there. Let's have a look there. Jamal Gandour just overcooking it, coming into the first chicane there and running very wide there. Simon Sanchez also off. That's where the confusion arises in the night time here. It looks like he came off at the exit of the chicane there, what used to be known as the PlayStation chicane. But I was going to say earlier on is that the great thing with the reverse grid start is that the first 2 straights on this long lap mean that there's chance for jockeying, chance for position, also a chance for these guys to run in a pact and keep the racing very, very close, at least until the 2nd or 3rd lap here. Aldo Ray doing a fantastic job, keeping up into 3rd position right now As it stands, though, he would not win the championship. He'll need to overtake Kim and Brandon Boone. But of course, he's got his championship rival, Xiao Yufei, right behind him. This is very, very tense stuff for Aldo Ray. It's going to be all about who can get ahead of the other driver and by how much. And it looks like further behind that, Xiao Yufei is going to try and challenge him. They're going to go side by side here. These are your two championship contenders, and it looks like they're unable to do it. Kim also part of that battle, and he manages to keep himself up into third position. To second position there, I do apologize there, but Aldo Ray in third place. He is desperate to try and get past Kim, and we know that Kim is a very hard driver to get past. They're very good in defense, in particular there, so it's going to be difficult for these two drivers go. But as it looks, Aldo Ray is finishing ahead of Xiao Yufei, but not by enough. Will he be able to get the job done?
Xiao Yufei has made a fantastic flying first lap. He's gone up from 9th to 4th, while Pacha Hongsawan is on his tail in 5th. But both of them are hot on the tail of Aldo Ray Balagulan. So this is really the battle for the championship, these three drivers. Aldo Ray is also still on the tail of Kim, and all four of them, I believe, are closing ever so slightly on Brandon Boone in the lead. So Brandon Boone with a 2.5 second advantage over the chasing pack as we end lap 1. Ooh, it looks like Aldo Ray has made a mistake. Aldo Ray's made a mistake in the forward chicane, and he's lost the place to Li Xiao Yufei.
Yeah, that is absolutely going to be devastating for Aldo Ray. He still has a chance to make this work, though. He hasn't dropped too far behind. He can still challenge for position with Xiao Yufei Li, but as it stands, if the race were to end right now, it looks like he is going to be the driver that will win the championship. And of course, Pachara Hongsawet is a very, very quick driver indeed, and he's going to be aiming to rub salt into the wounds, let's say, of Aldo Ray coming up towards Tete Rouge here. He's very close indeed. I think both drivers could see position change for both of those drivers right now as they come onto the Mulsanne Straight here, a legendary piece of track, perhaps the only piece of track that has remained the same. The exit out of Tete Rouge, the elm trees on the left-hand side, and this long straight coming down towards the first chicane. This has been on every single variant of the Le Mans circuit right the way since 1923.
It's a century of racing at Le Mans this year. And while these chicanes may be a bit new, they do spice up the action a little bit. As you can see, Pachara Hongsawat has closed up a huge amount through the first of the Mulsanne teams. Pachara Hongsawat is closing in the slipstream. And he ducks out to make his move. Meanwhile, at the front, Kim and Li Xiao Yufei are within a second of Brandon Boone as they go down their Mulsanne themselves. Pachara Hongsawat has taken 4th place from Aldo Ray Balagulan, but if we go back to the lead battle, you can tell it is really hotting up. Brandon Boone's held the lead for 1 lap, but Kim and Xiao Yufei are coming through like a TGV express train.
Fantastic stuff indeed there. You can see both drivers using the slipstream to their advantage there. Of course, if you get into a nice long slipstream, as they have to try and avoid the cone here, diving down towards the Mulsanne corner here, Kim is in the lead right now. Brandon Boone has dropped down 1 position there, and it looks like he's going to drop down another. Xiao Yufei looking like he's going to try and challenge. He's going to go side by side all the way down the straight here, but Brandon is behind the other driver. Will we see an overtaking maneuver happen here? Kim goes past, and it looks like Xiao Yufei just has his nose up ahead right now. They're giving themselves plenty of space there. Xiao Yufei using all of the road and the curb in order to make sure that he will be able to get past nice and cleanly, diving down towards the inside here, and he manages to get the car just far enough ahead for a computer to count it, but Brandon manages to save it. He manages to save the position there, but it looks like the counter-attack is happening pretty much straight away. Xiao Yufei trying to open up that entry into the corner as much as he can and drive the car towards the exit. Brandon Boone doing a fantastic job in defending. He blocks one way, And it looks like Zhou Yufei is going to have to be pushed out way wide, coming down towards the braking zone for the Porsche curves here. Again, they're going to be side by side. This is fantastic racing as they come down towards the braking zone here. The cars go one way, then the other, but brilliant bit of driving there.
Side. Woo. Outstanding stuff. Max, how do you still have breath?
Oh boy, I think I have to put it down to the Coca-Cola I had just before the start of the race here. But Zhou Yufei still in a dangerous position there with Brandon Boone. They're coming out towards it. Oh, Brandon loses it, and they're gonna go side by side, coming out of the corner here through S2 karting. It looks like Zhou Yufei has managed to get that position. Unbelievable bit of driving for those two drivers there. I believe they were battling for over 4.5 kilometers. That would normally make up a lap in most other racetracks. But Zhou Yufei manages to get himself up into second place, but that means he has been encumbered. When you're battling, you do slow down a fair bit, and you can see the gap between himself and Tae Kim now opened up to 1.6 seconds. So that's the next battle that Zhou Yufei is going to have to try and take. I know he wants to lock in that championship and make sure he gains that championship win, but I know equally as much that it's really nice to finish the championship with a win. So let's see if he can do that.
Meanwhile, in third place, Brandon Boone's not out of danger yet. Oh, wait a minute. He's closed up again on Lee Xiaofei. Lee Xiaofei seems to have had an issue. He's dropped behind Brandon Boone again. So Brandon Boone's got the position back. But the fight goes on still, Max. We thought it was over coming out of the four chicanes, but here they are back again around the Mosan for a second time. Brandon Boone, Pachara Hongsawa, and Lee Xiaofei are within a second of each other for second place.
It's unbelievable stuff, isn't it? The moment you move your eyes away from the screen, something dramatic happens. That's what's beautiful about Le Mans. It's this wonderful thing of having a nice, long, open racetrack where storylines can just play out beautifully here. Pachara Hongsawa also putting a lot of pressure there with Brandon Boone and Zhou Yufei. Yeah, he must have made a mistake there, going through on the run-up to Tete Rouge there. Now on the main straight here, Pachara putting a lot of pressure there on Brandon Boone. Both cars, of course, can go just equally as quick in a vacuum, but when you introduce the air here at Le Mans, the slipstream effect can be quite big, especially with the trees crowding the track like that. Pachara trying to go and look for a gap. He's going to try and send it up the inside. Will he be able to make it work there? Brendan keeping him honest, going around the inside there, keeping the cars. They're both side by side on the exit. Who's going to get the better drive out of the corners there? Fantastic bit of driving for both cars there. Looks like Brendan is not giving up. He is proving to be very, very good at trying to defend the cars, trying to keep the faster cars behind him. And he hasn't had the quickest of machinery under him so far this race, but he is using as much of the performance that's available to him, diving up towards the inside there. It looks like Brendan Boone has to give way to Pachara Hongsawa, who, again, we always say he is dangerous when it comes to trying to get himself up into third position there, and he's managed to do it again. Fantastic stuff from him as well, but a fantastic driving from Brendan. It could have gone so badly so many times, but he's managed to make that work. And of course, Aldo Rey's behind them as well, so if Brendan's not careful, he might lose yet another position.
That's Brendan doing a sterling job in keeping it clean and keeping everyone who's trying to pass him honest. They've had to work for it. He's not jumped out of the way at all. Aldo Rey is, as they go through Arnage again for the third time, Aldo Rey is close up behind Brandon Boone. Brandon Boone is not letting Pachara run away. Meanwhile, the gap between Lee Xiaofei and Tae Kim is down by about a second. So from the 3-second deficit coming out of Tete Rouge, closing in on the end of the lap, Lee Xiaofei is closing in indeed on Tae Kim.
Yeah, and you can see there, Brendan Boone is not exactly, Pachara Hongsawa isn't exactly leaving Brendan Boone in his dust there. He's still managing to keep themselves in position. Brendan is managing to actually keep sight of that podium position there, and I'm sure he'd love to have a podium position to round out his season as well. But Pachara just looks so nice going through the Porsche curves there. The car is set beautifully. He's definitely proving that he could really wheel a Porsche good as the best of them But you can see there, that's the menacing view in the rearview mirror of Brandon Boone. And on a bumper cam there, look at that. The amount of speed that Aldo Ray is able to carry going into the Ford chicane there was absolutely mesmerizing. Now it's going to be the next challenge for both of these drivers is going to be the Dunlop curves coming down towards this flat-out right-hander and into the braking zone for the left-hander. Now, the Dunlop curve used to be just the Dunlop curve. It used to be a flat-out right-hander right the way to the top of the hill. They added this chicane for reasons of safety, especially for the bike races with the Bugatti circuit there. But it does add yet another overtaking opportunity around here. Now through this section, Aldo Ray getting closer and closer. Will we see an overtake coming down towards Tete Rouge? It's close enough, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it, especially Brendan hits his marks, and he does beautifully there. But Aldo Ray using all of the track and then some in his attempts to try and make an overtaking maneuver. Look at that. He's managed to latch onto the slipstream. He's going to try and go side by side. And they're going to have a long drag race coming down towards the first chicane. It's going to be who can brake latest, who can get to that first apex, and also who can get the drive coming out of the chicane. Time and time again, we've seen people overtake coming into the chicane there, then lose traction on exit. But looks like Aldo Ray is going to be able to try and make that move stick. No, not quite. Brendan is actually keeping it. Fantastic stuff there from Brendan. Brilliant bit of driving. He managed to keep the speed. He wasn't on the racing line, but he didn't panic. He just managed to just do the best with what he can. But right now, Aldo Ray is going very close again, and they're going to try and go side by side coming down towards the second chicane. Again, this is the thing. You get a fantastic slipstream. Your top speed picks up by quite a few kilometers an hour when you're behind someone. But when you pull side by side, the wind resistance hits you, and you can actually hear that. But looking at that, it looks like Aldo Ray has indeed managed to overtake Brendan Boone. Brilliant bit of driving from all the drivers there. I have to say, Brendan definitely doing a fantastic job with his defensive driving there. And it's not over yet. He could still try and send it up the inside going into the corner here.
Oh, he's making another move again, Brendan Boone. He's not done. He's making the move into the Mulsanne corner, and he's got the inside line. They're going to keep going at it, but just as a segue, probably an important question. What's happened to Tae Kim? He's dropped right down the order to 8th, and Lee Xiaofei is up in the lead.
That's weird. I don't know if we've had the same situation as we did in race 1 where he had a disconnection or perhaps a netcode issue there, but that's going to be very, very difficult for him. Meanwhile, you can see that these guys are still going. Let's have a look at Xiaofei. And yep, we see that Tae Kim has disappeared. That looks like a network connection issue, which is
such a shame.
Yeah, that is such a shame there. I know Tae Kim would have loved to try and win that race, but it looks like on our timing screens at least he's out of the race there. Definitely a shame.
Meanwhile, Brandon Boone and Aldo Ray continue at it. They'll be going into the Porsche S's, and we'll see if Aldo Ray can find his position over Brandon Boone. Lee Xiaofei is now unleashed at the front. It's a real shame that we didn't get to see the absolutely delicious battle that would have happened between Lee Xiaofei and Tae Kim, but Brandon Boone and Pacharahong Sawat will probably be glad to have one extra position. Aldo Ray, however, has other ideas, so he will be seeing if he can make the move into the Ford chicane this time around. Out the karting S's they go, and Brandon Boone has the position. He's set himself up perfectly for the Ford chicanes. Aldo Ray doesn't have an opening. Bob, what are your thoughts for the race so far?
Yeah, currently right now, I see that you guys can speak like continuously, non-stop, because I didn't expect that in the feature race, Brandon Boone can keep it like for the half of the feature race. He did it so well, because the race graph, even though between the drivers still have a graph, have a level, have a different, but since the reverse grid happened, Brandon got his advantage from the very first of the race, and he keep it, and especially the fighting with Simon Sanchez, and also and the race, he just make it more and more exciting. And then just right now, you can see on the screen, Brandon at the fourth place trying his best to keep up with Andre Balagulan with the gap time which is 1 second. That is the spirit of racing that we are looking for in the very important league, important activity of sport in esport like this.
Yes, I think we all agree with Bob there, where fighting spirit really matters in iRacing and esports. Brandon Boone is still within a second of Aldore Balagulan. Aldore may have his podium, but he does not have the points advantage yet. Lee Xiarife still leads provisionally at the top of the points table for this next level racing iRacing series.
For me, there is a quote from Toyota, like you don't choose to win Le Mans choose you to win it. So in this case, we can see right now, Brandon Boone is closing up with the gap time with 0.2 seconds. He put the pressure down the rear wing of Andre, and Andre in this time is he need to fight. He need to maneuver and manage how to defend the attack from Brandon Boone.
Yes, Brandon Boone is in the slipstream now of Aldore Balagulan as they go up to what I believe is the Mulsanne corner. End of that straight, you may have a kink before you go into the corner, and Brandon Boone is, he's wide. He's outbraked himself and he was wide going into the Mulsanne corner, and Aldore has survived Brandon Boone's attack. That was a spirited drive from Brandon Boone. It's not over yet though, so long way to go. Yes, you can see here from the replay that Brandon Boone was on the outside braking for the Mulsanne corner, and it was dusty out there, I'm pretty sure. So he just couldn't slow the car down enough to hang around the outside against Aldore Balagulan. So now we have the top three in fairly decent space between them. Lee Xiarife first, Pachara Hongsawat second, and Aldore Balagulan third.
And that mistake there from Brandon Boone means he's out of slipstream range of Aldore. So that's really, it's a real shame there, because I think if it wasn't for that mistake, Brendan could have done something, perhaps not at that corner, but at the next corner there. He looks like he was really gaining quite a bit of time. Or perhaps, well, we'll never know what happened exactly, but it looked like he perhaps tried to brake a little bit too late, got a bit too anxious trying to get close to Aldo. Again, braked offline, as you said there, Bradley, getting the car onto those marbles, onto the dusty stuff at the side of the track there, getting a lockup or two. You know, there's a million and one things that could go wrong when you're driving a race car, and I think several things colluded to put Brandon Boone back there. And 4.4 seconds, it's going to be a tough ask for him to try and gain back that position to Aldo Ray, especially when they're not battling with each other. So it's a real shame for Brendan, but I think being in fourth position there, I think he has to be happy with that, especially with his performance in the race there. It's definitely driver of the day for me from Brendan Boone. You can see the car isn't driving the way he would like it around this track. He's definitely having to fight it a fair bit, but he's made the best of a very difficult situation there throughout the course of this race. It's a definite sea change from the sprint race to here.
Driver of our hearts today, Brandon Boone, and he's still hanging it out there up in the top 5 against some pretty strong opposition. Lee Xiarife, Pachara Hongsawa, and Aldore Balagulan all had to work to pass him earlier in the race. And as the race winds down, we've got 4 minutes left on the clock, possibly a lap or so left as Lee Xiarife goes into the first of the Mulsanne chicanes. Pachara Hongsawat's halfway down that straight, and Aldore is a little bit behind him as Brandon Boone exits Tetra Rouge.
Yeah, no, this is going to be the difficult situation here because, of course, in endurance racing, the thing you want to do is to not do the final lap if you really have to. 10 seconds is a fairly large gap, so will we see Xia Yufei just try and drop back just a little bit, lose a little bit of time through each corner, and try and make sure that he can claim the win of the race without having to do an extra lap, because an extra lap always means extra chances to get something wrong, extra chances to have a big accident. We've seen in the sprint race that Xiao Yufei he's not perfect. No human being is. He made a mistake, and Pachara really had the chance to really close up very quickly indeed there. So there's a lot of risks to be taken there. I don't know if he will start that final lap or if he will try and time it so that the timer will run out before he crosses the line. I think it's going to be difficult to do, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that because he's actually gained a second as we were talking here. But it'll be interesting to see what he does towards the final sector of this lap. But yeah, having a look at Xiao Yufei there, he's done a fantastic job, hasn't he?
Yes. Li Xiaofei has been regularly lapping under the 4-minute mark against a field that run close to the 4-minute, the magic 4 limit mark, but don't quite get through it. Nevertheless, you can see just how much pace Li Xiaofei has, and you have to wonder, can he keep this up for the hours in the stint required when it comes to endurance race? We'd probably love to see him do a little bit more endurance racing in iRacing. As meanwhile, Pachara Hongsawat is still banging in the lap time. 4 minute 1 second laps are not bad in the grand scheme of things. He's still setting really good lap times, and in fact, I think he's opening the gap to Aldore about third.
Yeah, top 3 there, I think very, very comfortable, we hope. Hopefully we don't jinx it here by saying this, but Xiao Yufei, Pachara Hongsawat, Aldore Balagulan, I can see this going all the way to the end of the race. The gaps are very big between each other, and there's a lot of space. Nobody is in danger of losing their positions right at the front of the field right now. But having said that, one of the most dangerous things you can do is relax in these situations, because when you start relaxing, you start making mistakes, and we've seen on this track how quickly a small mistake can turn into a very large one. Well, we've seen it with Xiao Yufei in the last lap, we've seen it with Brendan Boone in this race, that it can be very, very difficult indeed to keep that focus going. As it looks like there is no time wasting, there is no attempts to try and make the lap 1 race short. I think we're going to see one last final lap of the season here for the Next Level Racing Porsche 911 Cup here on ASRF. And I guess it would be a bit of a lap of honor, a racing lap of honor there for Xiao Yufei Li if nothing goes wrong. I think we all have our fingers and toes and everything sort of crossed there.
I wouldn't even say it's a lap of honor. Li Xiaofei just set his fastest lap, the race's fastest lap, that last lap going across the time. And with his final lap to go, I do not think he is backing up. He is still going for it. The gap to Pachara Hongsawat is still opening up in second place. It's now 14 seconds. And Pachara Hongsawat did not do a shabby job the last lap either. He set a 4-minute 0.6 second lap. So he's pretty close to that magic 4-minute mark. But it does not look like he can catch Li Xiaofei on the current pace. That being said, he may have set a 4-minute 0 last lap. For some reason, timing screens are not showing that as his best lap time, so he might have had a bit of an off-track moment.
Yeah, especially in iRacing, the track limits around here can be a little bit tricky. When you're driving around a racetrack this narrow, any little bit of extra tarmac that you can use, you will want to use. Simply because that just makes, that opens up the racing line going through the corners there. It helps you out. It makes the car a little bit easier to drive when you're transcribing. There's a word for you. Transcribing a longer line around the corner. A wider apex, a wider radius around the bend there. But in iRacing, as you know, sometimes the track limits can be a little bit tricky to judge. And I think that might have been the reason why Pachara did not have that quick lap time count for him. But still, 401.063 is very, very fast. Anybody can get close to a 359 around this track is really going for it. This is very, very fast stuff indeed. But you can see there, Xiao Yufei absolutely dominating there. You can have a look at, even at the speed trap there, doing very well for himself. Although the fastest on the speed traps there, I think, is Simon Sanchez, 287 kilometers an hour. Wow, that is going some for a Carrera Cup car. It's pretty hard to get to 300 kilometers an hour in these cars. I think you'd have to throw one off an airplane in order to get it past 300 or cheat a lot with the engine. But 287 kilometers an hour, that would have been in the draft. Fantastic stuff indeed. And as we're looking down to the drivers who unfortunately have retired from the race there, take Kim also managing 287 kilometers an hour. Brilliant stuff.
Yes, speaking of retirees, I think we lost Ao King Kyung a lap or two ago. He's completed 6 laps according to the tiny screen, so he will not be finishing lap 7, which is a shame. As much a shame as losing Tae Kim and Jamal Gandour earlier this race. So looks like it. Lee Xiaoyifei is exiting the karting curves, and he brakes for the 4th chicane the final time. First the left and the right, and then one more left and one more right, across the curbs and across the finish line. Lee Xiaoyifei has taken the checkered flag and has won the Le Mans round feature race of the Next Level Racing iRacing Porsche Cup. Pachara Hongsawat comes round to take 2nd place. He hits the curbs one last time himself to take 2nd, and sterling effort to cross the finish line in 2nd. Aldari Balagulan comes around in 3rd. Meanwhile, Brandon Boone still keeping him honest and finishes an excellent 4th after having fought for every single position ever since he started on pole. Simon Jorge Sanchez is in 5th, so that rounds out our top 5. Great performance from Atsushi Osakune is in 6th. Well within the gap. Great performance all around from the top 6 finishers for giving us an absolutely entertaining race to watch around Circuit de la Salle.
Yes, and I believe with Xiaoyifei Li winning this race, it does mean that, according to my math, which hopefully should be correct by now, I'm using a calculator. I have upgraded from the abacus of the last stream that we did. But I do believe that provisionally Xiaoyifei Li is our champion for this season. That should take him over the line there. Pachara Hongsawat did a fantastic job in 2nd place. Aldo Ray in 3rd position. It's a real pity for Aldo Ray. He was looking very racy at certain points during the course of this event, but unfortunately he wasn't quite able to do the job there. But brilliant bit of racing for Xiaoyifei Li there. He manages to just keep the car up at the head of the field, and that's all he had to do. He just had to be in 1st position and let the chips fall as they may. And he's done that brilliantly. A well-deserved champion, I think.
Yes, congratulations and absolute salute to Lee Xiaoyifei for a fantastic season in the Next Level Racing iRacing 911 Cup Asia League. With a win in the 1st round at Silverstone, you have thought he would have been a contender, but he definitely had a long, hard, seasons-long fight to get to his championship, and with Aldo Ray Balagulan running him to the end, running him ragged to the end, Lee Xiaoyifei has earned his championship victory.
Yep, as you can see there, Atsushi Osakune doing a little bit of gincana work at the chicane there before shutting the car off. I think a lot of these drivers there... Ao King Kyung looks like he managed to get the car going again. Perhaps it was a little bit of netcode that saw him disappear from our screens. It looks like he might be able to actually bring the car towards the finish line. He's at the far end of the circuit there. But I love this. When it comes to sim racing, it's brilliant to see a driver actually attempt to finish the race, especially one with such long endurance racing tradition there. So good shout out there to Ao King Kyung.
Yeah, shout out indeed. He's done what has to be a hard old job, just trying to get his car to the finish line, and it may be 3 minutes behind, but the beauty's in the attempt, and he has, as he comes out of Porsche curves again, it looks like he will cross the finish line within the 3 minute mark of Lee Xiaoyifei taking the victory. So Ao King Kyung comes home in 7th place as he rounds the 4 chicane, the final time.
Yep, flashing the lights there, slowing down and giving a good wave to all the mechanics in the pit lane there, and very well deserved run to the line there, and a bit of a donut. Yeah, why not? Let's have a bit of showmanship. Beautiful bit of pirouetting there. I have to say, his donuts, well,
Hey, that's a
almost
new
perfect.
damage model. That's a new damage model. The wing has fallen off.
Yeah, he's managed to take the wing off quite neatly there, actually.
Yeah, now you mention it. And I think Wei Han did mention that with the new damage model, the bits and pieces that fall off the car stay on the track and can cause havoc if so willed. Needless to say, it's not quite ideal to hit objects on the track, but it's still definitely one for the immersion. Okay, we've got the results come up now. Maybe Bob, why don't you take us through the results?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, right now we have the champion of the race, Zia Fei at the first place. In the second place, Pachara Hosawev in the second, and in the third, Ando Race. The fourth, Brandon Poon. Fifth, Simon Sanchez. Sixth, Asushi Osafune. Seventh, our King Kong. Eighth, Tai Kim. So pity for the guys, but he's supposed to be in the top of the race. And ninth, Jaman Gandour.
Yeah, brilliant driving from all the drivers there. Pity to sort of commiserations there to all of the guys who retired from the race. But congratulations to the guys there. Obviously, congratulations to Lee there for winning the championship. Brilliant stuff, indeed. But yeah, I mean, just a little bit of backroom banter there. What about Brandon Boone, Bob? Brilliant bit of driving, huh?
Exactly, like he showed the spirit of the race. Like start from the first and end up in the fourth, trying so much to keep his pace, keep his position. Do like he bring on the weapon, on the technique that he have to like catch up with the guy. I have to admit that. And then he just just I have mentioned before, showing the spirit out of everybody. Like I can see he choose to win it. He choose to win this race. So that is why I admire him so much.
Yeah, definitely spirit of the race award goes to Brandon Boone. He deserves a cookie. He deserves to go into his pantry there and go find himself a cookie there. Well deserved. So Bradley, who do you think is your man of the match, your MVP for this race?
I can't disagree with Brandon Boone as a choice because that was a fight back and a half. He may have finished a bit down the order, mostly through no fault of his own in race 1 because I'm pretty sure, as I recall, he had technical difficulties and had to pit in the sprint race. So he really made the best of starting on pole and gave up absolutely nothing he could afford to.
Brilliant stuff. It's been a very entertaining race. I know it's been a little bit thin on the ground when it comes to the field, but the quality of racing has absolutely been incredible. But yeah, fantastic stuff indeed. We'd like to have our camera impresario, boss man, and man behind the scenes, Chun Wei Han here. Give us your thoughts. Give us a couple of cents there. What is it? Give us 2 cents? Give us your 2 cents on the race. So yeah, that's going to be. Is that going to be it? Do we have any drivers down there in this Discord down below? I'm scrolling. I think we do have Sayufe Lee. They're our provisional champion in the race lobby. What say you, Shadway? You wanna go and poke him in the shoulder and bring him up?
Okay, let me do the job.
Thanks, Bob.
We've got a pit lane reporter on duty. But yeah, it's been brilliant to see this racing here all throughout the season. There, I have to say, the quality and the level of racing, sportsmanship, and the racecraft has been above average. It's better than usual. Of course, now we have our
Here comes the champion.
yes, we have our champion in the studio. So how is it for you out there? It looks like you did exactly what you needed to do to win this.
Yeah, I tried to keep it clean and smooth, but I made a mistake in the round one in the first race. So a bit scary, but it went very well for me.
Yeah, that was perhaps the only mistake you made all throughout this race weekend. There, that was quite scary for us to see the gap between yourself and Pachara drop down to 1 second, I believe it was there. But in any case, there, I think from the fantastic lap you did in qualifying and just improving your lap time throughout the course of the race, there, you definitely have a certain talent when it comes to going around Le Mans. Is this one of your favorite tracks?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I messed up my qualifying. You guys can see I went to about 1.5 seconds faster in the race. So I messed up my qualifying. I only did one lap on cold tires, so it was much slower than my race pace.
That would explain it. But I think one of the secrets we'd like to discover from you, Li Xiaifei, would be your setup. How did you manage to get under the 4-minute barrier around Le Mans with the 911 Cup car?
Actually, the setup work is very important, and I made the setup by myself, especially in the last sector when the track has many fast corners. The transition from left to right and right to left is very important. You need very stiff anti-robots for the reaction and as well as the balance. That's it.
Yeah. So a quick note to all the competition in the next few series and races we'll have. From Li Xiaifei, the champion this season, you're going to need to set up your anti-roll bars for quick transitions and corners, especially around here the Porsche curves. But yeah, thanks for that information. I'm going to be using that myself in the future.
Yeah, actually, I can
We're all
tell
writing
you.
it down.
I can tell you what I'm using. My front anti-robot is 2 and the rear is 5. My teammate has 3 in the front and 6 on the rear.
Oh,
so that's very stiff and for the transition.
Okay, that's it. That's quite interesting. Did you have to deal with downforce quite a fair bit? Because down the long straights, everyone was slipstreaming, and it seemed like top speed would be a important factor around the mall.
Actually, the top speed is not that much important, I think. And if you take the chicane very well, you can pull off from others very easily.
So there's another secret.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. We could see that when we were looking at the speed trap, you weren't the fastest by any stretch of the imagination. But like you were saying there, just keeping the average speed up over the course of the lap, I think that's the secret around here, isn't it?
Yes, the consistency and avoid the slowdown, but as well as you need to be very close to the track limit to maximize the speed.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. In any case, well, yeah. In any case, congratulations there, Wei Hin. Could you let let Lee know what he has won. Feel like a
Yes,
game show now.
so I think we're still due to polish up the scoring tables, but of course the series champion is going to be guaranteed Next Level Racing FGT88 Light Cockpit with the second place finisher with the series second place finisher who will walk away with a gaming chair, and of course with third place walking away with a haptic feedback pad by Next Level Racing. So well, definitely we'll let everyone know about the results once the results have been finalized sometime next week, once the protests have been settled. But I think, Serify, I think you're definitely, you should be definitely set for the championship prizes, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for that. Thanks for Nessa Racing for that.
Awesome stuff.
Brilliant stuff, and of course, yet again, congratulations to you. You just drove the perfect final race, and you clinched the championship. Congrats!
Yeah, thanks. Actually, I did a Porsche Esports China at the same time, and the last round is Le Mans. So I practiced about few hundred laps for the setup. So it's a very big advantage for me for
Absolutely
this round.
hardworking.
Yeah, and last year I raced in the Virtual Le Mans series, and I practiced for 2 weeks for this track in
Wow.
about 1,000 laps. So very great understanding, and I love this track very much.
Oh, that's so great to hear, Serify. Yeah, definitely. Certainly great to hear that all of that painstaking practice has paid off in so many ways. And yeah, of course, Fawn, we want to wish you well for all of the sim racing endeavors that you will embark on. Well, hopefully the Le Mans 24-hour virtual will happen again this year. Then we can definitely watch you race again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll all look forward to that.
Yeah, we'll be rooting for you for sure.
Thanks.
So I guess that's going to be it for our broadcast this evening, unless we can find anyone else in the back rooms there.
Yeah, I think we can also give everyone a little bit of time to settle into Le Mans. So from what I understand, the real Le Mans is currently under safety car. So
Okay, he gonna come to watch party because we gonna do the streaming at the racing television channels. You can find it for free. Just join it.
Yep. So head over to the Asian Sim Racing Federation Discord and join us. But in the meantime, I think that's going to be it from us here at ASRF. Special thanks to Next Level Racing. Special thanks to my co-commentators, Bob and Bradley Martins there. And it's over to you, Chan. Weihan.
Yeah, awesome. So it has been such an exciting 5-week long season, albeit short, but still exciting nonetheless. We've seen some of the best sim races in Asia, such as Serifay yourself, kind of take on the computer screens of all of us here, taking on some of the best virtual racing tracks on the iRacing service indeed. And of course, we do have plenty of plans coming up for the rest of the year. And of course, we're definitely grateful for all the support that's provided by all of the drivers and as well as everyone who has tuned into our broadcast here. So, I think barring any last minute thoughts, any closing remarks from any of you guys?
Yeah, I can't wait for the next one. That's all I've got.
This my first season commentating for the iRacing series, and I have to ask, you guys get these races every time because it's been entertaining and compelling the whole way through to watch.
For me, is such a great honor companion with you guys, both the driver, both the spotter, and Max and Bradley and Weihan. Such an honor, and that's all. I'm looking forward for the next season, next activity coming soon.
Awesome, that's great to hear. So, well, many thanks to Next Level Racing for supporting us this season, not just that, and also for supporting all of our initiatives over the past couple of years in ASRF, in Sim Races Asia, in all of our different regional communities as well. And it has been the four of us bringing the action to you guys. This has been Bradley, Hian, Max, and myself, Wei Han. And until the next season, we'll see you once again. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye and thanks again.
What is so important about driving faster than anyone else?
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.